When you think of Chicago food, it's probably this. Or this.
The hot dogs.
Deep dish pizza.
Hot dog.
Deep dish pizza.
That would have been our answer too. But the more we looked into Chicago, the stranger that answer started to feel. Because the deeper we dug, the less it felt like pizza and hot dogs were telling the whole story. So we spent 24 hours eating our way across Chicago, not to find the best pizza or a better hot dog, but to figure out whether those famous foods are actually the whole story, or whether we've all just been handed a postcard version of the truth. So we started where everyone else does.
We have to set the bar for what Chicago food is, or what people think it is, and the most famous thing, the deep dish pizza. So of course we have to start here. It's literally sauce on top, cheese in the middle. It's like 2 layers of dough, and it is an absolute brick of a pizza. I mean, look at this. The cheese is literally running away. It's 2 layers of carbs. It's fresh tomato sauce. There's absolutely no way that this can go wrong. And that's probably exactly why Chicago is known for it. Well, that was an incredibly satisfying bite of pizza, except it was exactly what we expected Chicago's food scene to be. However, there is one more food we have to try before we can see if there's more to the city's food scene than we all think. Trust me, we'll need this later. So the other food everyone associates Chicago with is the Chicago dog. What is the first type of food that comes to your mind?
Hot dog.
Oh, the hot dogs.
I don't think I've ever had a Chicago hot dog other than the airport.
I hope this is better than that. Locals say the Northman Beer and Cider House has the best one. And if you're a local, you will get it dragged through the garden style, which means mustard, absolutely no ketchup, don't even think about it, onions, unnaturally colored green relish, pickles, tomato, all beef hot dog, and most importantly, very soft poppy seed bun. So we have to see if there's anything special about it, or if it's just a really good dog. I forgot there's celery salt on it, and you can taste that. It's almost kind of like if you had a Bloody Mary, that salt rim, and that dog, that is so juicy. The garden on top, I actually really like it. It's really crispy, it's really fresh.
It makes it really like zingy.
And it kind of lightens up the whole thing. But while everybody talks about pizza and hot dogs, Chicago invented one of the most popular desserts in the entire world, the brownie. This was invented at the Palmer Hotel, and they still use the same recipe that they used back in the day. 60% dark chocolate, and the top is brushed with apricot preserves. It's a lot lighter than I thought, knowing that it's 60% dark chocolate. And that is literally so chewy, which is exactly how a brownie should be, which makes sense that they know how to do it since they did invent it. Well, so far, we've basically confirmed the stereotype that most tourists see. But now we're gonna move on to the foods that locals grew up eating. And if Chicago is really more than deep dish and hot dogs, this is where we should really start to see it. This is the most famous Italian beef place in the city, and judging by the line, hope it's good. Well, this sandwich is so sopping wet and kind of soggy that it looks like something you don't want. But if you ask a local, they're gonna say this is what we eat way more than deep dish. This is an everyday Chicago meal instead of something that's more special, like the deep dish. So this is Al's #1 Italian beef, and it invented the Italian beef sandwich and is now an icon in the city. So the Italian beef sandwich is thinly sliced roast beef on a French bread roll, and we got it the local way. We asked what they put on top, which is a giardiniera and a pepper. And then what really defines this dish is the meat au jus, or what locals call gravy, and we got it dipped. But how does a local sandwich compare to the famous Chicago food? Oh my gosh, it literally just dripped on the back. Holy crap. That meat has almost got like a spice to it. Like it almost gives me like Vietnamese vibes. And I actually kind of love the soggy bun because it allows me to fit it in my face.
You just have stuff all over your face.
Well, wait till you put it in your face and you will understand. Giardiniera is spicy and crunchy. That is literally such a good sandwich. This is actually probably my favorite thing we've had today.
It's already falling apart in my hands. All right. Another piece gone. That's amazing. I guess like if you took like the entire sandwich and you dipped it in like an au jus.
Well, that's what they do.
Well, that's what it tastes like.
Pro tip, get a lot of napkins. Well, that was the kind of place we love helping you find, because the mission of our channel is to help you find what's actually worth it and what is just a tourist trap. So if that's your vibe, hit subscribe. But now we have another local favorite Chicago food to try. Before sports bars and gastropubs, Chicago had taverns, and they still have them to this day. Because Chicago isn't just about famous restaurants, it's about places like this where people have been gathering for generations. And one thing you'll find at a tavern, the local version of Chicago pizza, tavern pizza. Tourists will eat deep dish, the locals will tell you they eat this. So it's really thin crust pizza, a lot different than that deep, chewy crust. And it's cut party cut or tavern cut in squares, so it's easy to grab and go when you're at the tavern drinking a beer. We got the classic sausage and Italian beef. Oh, hot. That's hot. Ooh! I gotta wait. I burnt my face. It's fantastic. It's pizza. You know the toppings. You know beef and Italian sausage. They call it a cracker crust, and they aren't lying. That is crispy, crunchy, and I think I like it better than the deep dish. Locals, you know what's up. Every city has one thing that locals insist you try, and in Chicago, it's Malort. I think it's whiskey?
Yeah, it's whiskey.
No one's ever described it positively. Oh my gosh. That tastes like regret. And gasoline pizza chaser.
This pizza's gonna taste extra good with that though.
It actually kind of tastes worse. Sorry. Why Chicago? Why you do this to us? Oh man. Okay, so maybe we wouldn't recommend the Malort, but spending an afternoon in a tavern feels like part of understanding Chicago. And now things are going to start to get really interesting. Because up until this point, everything we've had has still felt very recognizably Chicago: pizza, Italian beef, hot dogs. But our next dish only exists because of the immigrant communities that helped shape the city's food scene. And honestly, we had never even heard of it before. This is the jibarito. And it is probably the best example of what makes Chicago's food so interesting, because this food only exists because of Chicago. It's not a recipe that was brought here. Chicago's Puerto Rican community literally invented it. So what it is twice fried plantain as like kind of the bread taco right here, so it's really crispy. Inside, the classic version is steak, cheese, a little bit of lettuce, tomato, and then garlic mayo on top. And jibarito is named after kind of a farmer in Puerto Rico. And this is the jibarito stop, and they make everything here fresh in-house. That steak looks so tender. It is so moist on the bottom. Wow, that is a lot. It's crispy, it's creamy. That steak is so tender, and look at that. But it is all about the plantain. It adds such a good crispy, crunchy texture. It's almost like wrapping your taco in a chip, which is absolutely fantastic.
Like this sauce and stuff, and the juices from the meat have nothing to latch onto.
I mean, it's literally dripping.
But it's okay. It's just all over your hands and face.
At this point, we've gone way beyond pizza and hot dogs, but to truly understand a city, you have to leave the main city. And apparently in this little neighborhood is where we're gonna find our next stop that proves that the city is still evolving and is not done creating new Chicago food. Well, if the jibarito shows us that Chicago is creating new food, this place, Kimski, shows us how they're doing that. Because instead of choosing just one food tradition, they combine two cultures that are becoming part of Chicago's food identity, as you can see with their version of the Chicago dog. So they do Polish-Korean mashups, and this is a brioche bun with a glistening Polish sausage covered in gochujang sauce. They use a combination of kimchi and sauerkraut, and then a whole bunch of saucy goodness on the inside. And it looks absolutely insane. I don't know how I'm gonna fit it in my mouth. I don't know if I can do the bun.
We believe in you.
I don't know. We've had a lot of bun things today, and I'm getting very full. So I didn't think I was gonna like it better than the Chicago dog because we're in Chicago. This might be blasphemy, but I did think the Chicago dog needed ketchup, which I know is a no-go. And this gochujang sauce is like a sweet and spicy ketchup with your really crispy Polish sausage. A little bit of that tangy kimchi. I think the bun is a bit extra. But the dog, Chicago fusion at its best.
That was a mouthful. I think it's actually kind of like a little bit similar to the Chicago dog because you have a pickling aspect, you have the mustard, you obviously have the hot dog, and you have a bun. Except it's more like a global rendition. I think you're the only one that thinks that Chicago needs ketchup.
I'm sure Chicago folks, you can go at me in the comments. Nicely.
And suddenly, Chicago feels almost impossible to define. It's not just famous dishes or immigrant traditions. It's a city that's constantly borrowing, mixing, and creating new things. And our next stop might be the best example of that. Well, our next stop is a little more upscale, and I don't think they would appreciate us smelling like Chicago dogs and Italian beef.
Welcome to Chicago's West Loop, which is now one of America's premier dining neighborhoods, but it hasn't always been that way. Our next stop, the nationally recognized Girl on the Goat, is one of the restaurants that helped put it on the map. The Girl on the Goat is the flagship restaurant of Stephanie Izzard, who is the first female chef to win Bravo's Top Chef. If Kimski showed us what happens when food traditions collide, the Girl on the Goat shows us what happens when an entire city becomes confident enough to draw inspiration from everywhere and turn Chicago into one of America's greatest restaurant cities. We opted for a surprise and we're doing the chef's table where we didn't know what we were getting, except it's 5 or 6 courses, and we're gonna see it being made in front of us. This isn't sponsored, we're paying for it with our own money, but I emailed to make sure it was okay to film, and they put "Welcome to Chicago, never too full." So cute. So first to have arrived, we have a king salmon poke and roasted asparagus with all kinds of things. So we got salmon, spicy crunch, and some veggies. Has a happy face. That is like a spicy salmon roll without the rice. It's like a little bit like, it's got a really good crunch. We're starting very strong.
So you've had an old fashioned before, but have you had one with goat fat?
Is it goaty?
No. It tastes like a really good old fashioned.
Then we got crispy short rib noodles, which is kind of like a Vietnamese dish. And this short rib looks impossibly crispy and so juicy. Oh my gosh. I have never had a short rib that crispy. It's fresh, the noodles are chewy. It's fantastic. The chef's table has some dishes that are only for the chef's table and some of their most famous ones, like their green beans, probably one of their most iconic dishes. And it is fish sauce vinaigrette with cashews. It doesn't look like a lot because it's just green beans, but it tastes like so much. The beans are a little bit smoky, and then that sauce, it is like a salty umami bomb, and you can absolutely see why this is their signature dish. Well, the name is Girl on the Go, so as we saw with Caleb's Old Fashioned, they do goat. So we always have to have something on the chef's table menu, and today we got a goat tank. Look at this! I have never seen a goat tank in my life. It's huge, I'm full, and I'm still so excited.
So they brought me in for the meat. The meat. That's like one of the smokiest meats I've ever had. And it's not gamey. Super tender and delicious.
Usually goat is like not the greatest of all time meat, kind of cheap. But that is literally, I don't know how that got it so tender and so smoky and so crispy at the same time.
It's the goat.
It is the goat, but it's not usually the goat. My mind is boggled and my taste buds are happy. So after everything we've had today, I think it's pretty safe to say that Chicago didn't become the food city that it is just because of deep dish and hot dogs. It's because every generation kept adding something new to the menu. But after today, we still had one more big question. Are Chicago's other famous restaurants worth it? So we put Michelin Guide spots head to head with local picks right here.